I'm Carol Angela Davis. Thank you for joining me on this daily video news blog. It is Friday, April 9th, 2010. We have news for you on the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll tell you what the big news is there. Also today, President Obama remarks to that Confederate History Month proclamation there in the state of Virginia. Also today, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich. Wait till you hear what he has to say about your president. Also today in financial news, unemployment benefits, what's the Senate going to do? Plus, we have news for you in your health. An incurable superbug may be coming. Watch out. Plus, we have news for you on allergy season. Also, in celebrity news, we have news of that Survivor producer. You know the one I'm talking about. And then finally today, well, let's just say that to say that this is stupid is just an understatement. Stay tuned for the details. We'll be right back right after this.
In America, 500,000 businesses are started each year. What does it take to launch a successful company? Discover the answers as entrepreneur Michael Vedini interviews the area's premier business leaders.
There's no better time right now for anyone to start a business.
Success is opportunity, timing, luck.
I knew that it was going to take a lot of hard work.
It's all about leadership. That's where it starts.
Join us for American Entrepreneur.
I'm Carol Angela Davis. Thank you for joining me on your daily video news blog. Let's begin with some news for you from the nation's capital. It is official now. Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens, he is retiring. Stevens, as you know, the oldest member of, and of course the leader of the liberal bloc there on the U.S. Supreme Court. The retirement giving President Barack Obama his second chance to fill an opening on the high court. As for Stevens, his last day on the job is expected to be late June or early July. One thing is for certain, whomever the president selects to fill Stevens' seat, we know that the Republicans will object and do everything in their power to delay confirmation of that person, because that's just what the Republicans do. I mean, let's get real. They're probably starting now. I mean, what the heck? Just for the heck of it. Just so you know, Stevens, for his party, was nominated by President Gerald Ford. He usually sided with the court's liberal bloc in most of the contentious cases. We're talking about civil rights cases, abortion cases, criminal law cases, and cases involving church-state relations. Let's now go to the former great state of Virginia, where President Obama says Virginia's Governor Bob McDonnell made, quote, an unacceptable omission, unquote, when he proclaimed it Confederate History Month without mentioning slavery. The president saying, quote, I don't think you can understand the Confederacy and the Civil War unless you understand slavery, said Obama. He, of course, is the nation's first African-American president. First Lady Michelle Obama is a descendant of slaves, as are most African-Americans. We're all personally offended. And former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, he says Barack Obama is the most radical president in American history. That's a compliment, actually. He says that Obama oversees a secular socialist machine. Well, you know, Gingrich, he is a candidate, a potential presidential candidate for the 2012 elections. I think Barack Obama must sit in the Oval Office and say, bring it. Just bring it. Candidates like Newt Gingrich, bring it. Gingrich is urging his fellow Republicans to stop what he calls Obama's secular socialist machine. Those remarks coming in New Orleans at a three-day GOP meeting that is drawing lots of presidential hopefuls. Tonight's headliner at the big dinner, it's going to be former Republican vice presidential nominee Sarah Palin. You remember her, of course, for quitting the hard job of the governor of Alaska. Now she wants the harder job of being president of the United States. I don't think so. In financial news, well, now more than 200,000 jobless Americans are sitting around waiting, trying to see if the Senate is going to help them pay their bills after 8 years of George Bush's severely failed economic policies. The question, will the Senate restore their extended unemployment insurance? The unemployment checks expected to stop this week after lawmakers failed to extend that April 5th deadline to file for federally paid benefits before the Senate went on vacation for 2 weeks. We'd all love a vacation, wouldn't we? A total of 1 million people could lose benefits this month. That is if the Senate does not push back the deadline when it returns to work. That happens on Monday. Republicans blocked. Republicans blocked, Republicans stopped, Republicans delayed. Republicans blocked the extension's passage. That happened late last month, saying the $9 billion bill should be paid for. Meanwhile, you should know that 33 states are out of money to fund jobless benefits. Some 11.2 million people are now receiving unemployment insurance, with 6 million of them collecting extended benefits. This is a crisis, folks. Looking at your health now, there is an alarming new superbug that may be on its way, and it is an incurable form of gonorrhea. Watch out. The disease, of course, was once easily killed by a single shot of penicillin. It is increasingly becoming drug resistant. That is the word from the director of the Sexually Transmitted Bacteria Reference Library at the United Kingdom's Health Protection Agency. Gonorrhea is the second most commonly reported infectious disease here in the United States. One expert says here in the U.S. we'll probably have something like 700,000 cases of gonorrhea this year. Teenage girls, if you're between the ages of 15 and 19, you account for more than half of the cases of any other age group. If you are not cured as a teenager between the ages of 15 and 19, you risk pelvic inflammatory disease, infertility, and ectopic pregnancies. People infected with gonorrhea, you should also know, are also about 3 times more likely to become infected with HIV should they come into contact with the virus. And you should also know that since people with some forms of gonorrhea may not show symptoms, their partners may have no idea that they are infected. Resistance may also be an issue because about 30% of females who contract gonorrhea are co-infected with chlamydia. Be careful. In other health news, we've got a pollen problem, and experts say 2010 is shaping up to be a monster of an allergy season. This year is especially bad if you're in the southeast, where oak trees are the culprit. The trees produce about 3,000 to 6,000 pollen particles per cubic meter, but you should know that it only takes 10 particles to trigger an allergic reaction. Wow, that's pretty serious. Let's turn to some celebrity news. We told you about that Survivor producer now being called former Survivor producer. Bruce Beresford-Redman, he of course was detained as a suspect in the death of his wife there in Cancun, Mexico. He has been released from detention but cannot leave the country. His wife, you'll remember, was found dead in Cancun. Mexican officials say they released him, but he is still under investigation. The wife's name, Monica Beresford-Redman, the 30-year-old producer, as we said, detained as a suspect Thursday after police found his wife's body in a sewer at Cancun's swanky Moon Palace Resort. That's where the family was on vacation. She reportedly died of asphyxiation and a blow to the right temple. So the family, the father, the mother, and the 2 kids go to Cancun on a vacation, and the only person that didn't survive was the wife. Finally today, this is the picture of Tasha Lee Campbell. Oh yes, police say this 19-year-old Floridian, who frankly looks very happy in this picture, which you should know is her mugshot. That's interesting. She was arrested after opening a can of beer in a police car. Apparently the cops were giving her a ride home after the driver of the car she had been in was arrested for a DUI. Sounds like there was a whole lot of drinking going on in that car. Police say she popped open a can of Steel Reserve. That's a malt liquor known for its high alcohol content. Well, she popped that open in the back of the police cruiser, and that's, of course, when police immediately arrested her. Well, I'd say what was she thinking, but I think it's pretty clear that she wasn't thinking at all. She's probably drinking. Those are your stories. Thanks so much for joining me on the Daily Video News Blog. We'll see you back on Monday, same time, same place, news stories. Thank you and have a great weekend. I'm Carol Angela Davis.